How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to that car vlog channel. If you don't already know, my name is Andy, and today it is time to do more work on the 1994 Dodge Dakota. Now, followers of the channel may remember that a couple of years ago, I'd say that's about right, I made a video talking about, things that need to be done to this truck. So in this video, we're not going to do a single one of those things. So it is currently wintertime here in East Tennessee, and although it's somewhat warm today in the low 60s, which I'm very thankful for after the snowmageddon we got a couple weeks ago, it's still going to be cold for a little while longer, and I've got two problems that make this thing suck in the cold. First one, let's go ahead and put this thing in ignition on, is right here. Let's turn the fan on, and that's on high. Nothing. Nada. No movement from the fan whatsoever. Now, when the problem started, I was able to smack the dash a little bit and get it to turn. Old car stuff, and that's where those cracks came from. Oops! Old car. So that's a problem. I bought two parts to fix that problem. Let me bring these over here real quick. So in this box is another replacement part for a common failure on your first gen Dakotas. This here is the blower motor resistor. This is what allows you to have one, power to the motor, and two, multiple different speeds. It's a very simple piece of kit, but somehow these things fail all the time. Sometimes they get hot right here and they melt the connector to it. Sometimes I'm not really sure exactly what other failure possibilities there are, but we got a new one. It's about $15, $16. So if that's not the problem, I'm not out very much. The other thing I got is right here. This is a new wiring harness clip for it. This plugs right into that resistor. Then I'll have to cut and splice these into the truck's wiring because the one that's on the truck is seized to the resistor plugs. So that's probably gonna have to be cut loose. I'm sure it can be freed, but at that point, I probably still gonna want to probably cut those off and put new ones on. So let's get this hood open and let's check this out. Right here on the passenger side, right here on the firewall, here's where we're going to be working. So here's the blower motor resistor right here. You can see that in there. And it definitely looks like it's been on there for a while. Being that it's yellow, I'm thinking it is a replacement. Obviously, I have no idea how long ago it was done. I've had this truck about 4.5 years. So I'm not really sure. Although running my fingers down this electrical taped harness, you can feel right here it's a bit thicker. I'm betting money that if I unwrap this thing, it's going to be spliced here, and this has already been replaced once. Hopefully, that's all it's going to take to fix this. So let's go ahead and get started taking that apart. And see, I'm going to try to unplug this connector right here, and it's just, it's absolutely seized on there. There's no pulling that off at all. And honestly, this resistor, look at this. This thing is loose. It seems very loose. I don't know if these screws are stripped out. This one looks like it's going in crooked. I'm hoping I can get these back in here. So let's go ahead and unwrap this very clearly aftermarket harness. Maybe I may have to get a knife and cut down the length of it. I don't want, I want to get all this electrical tape off and get down to where it's spliced. That way I'm not cutting off too much wire. I may have to get my knife and cut along this electrical tape though, because it's been on there a while and it is brittle. Oh Lord. It's coming. I can probably unwrap it, but it's very brittle. Here we go. Okay, maybe I don't need to get the knife, which is good because oh, there we go. I spoke too soon. I don't want to, risk cutting into the truck's factory harness once we get down to that point, having to repair that as well. But I might just have to take that risk and run with it. Yeah, let me get a knife. And of course, since there's still so many things I can't find after our move, I can't find any of my blades. So I've got this old safety knife that they used to use at the warehouse that I work out of. They don't use this type anymore. I don't know how I got this. I think I stuck it in my pocket one day and forgot about it. And then they started using different ones. So it's mine. Anyway, it works. It's going to cut that little brittle tape, and we're going to get that off of there. All right, so that didn't take but maybe a minute once I had the knife. I got all that tape off right there. And now you can see all the individual wires where this was definitely replaced once it's spliced in. Definitely gonna cut this stuff below the tape lines and just get rid of this whole thing because it needs to go. There is definitely gonna be enough wiring to not matter that I cut it down that low. I may pull the tape off just to see exactly where it's spliced and cut it close to the splice. I think that is what I'll do, just to make sure I'm, removing as little wire from the truck as I can. Even more tape removed, and now we can see these actually were spliced nicely. They used the butt splices on them, and you can tell there's at least 2 different gauges of wire, which I already knew because I've looked at the new harness. So they've got 2 different connectors on here, which is fine because, you know, different gauges. But now I can see them and I can cut them right there at the splice. All right, then you got 2 5/16 screws right here holding this thing into the firewall. And there's an AC line in the way. That's beautiful. I may have to get the ratchet for this one. And maybe to put it back on. But this one's coming off. Beautiful, right there. That AC line right where I need to work. Welcome to automotive design, people. And here we go. There it is. There's the old resistor. Now, how to visually tell if they're bad, yeah, I have no idea. There's definitely some rust and corrosion right in here. The coils don't look to be corroded, but definitely some corrosion. Looks like, I'm sure it got in behind the connector and it just continued into the inside. Here's the old seal. Doesn't matter, it's getting replaced. While I'm in here, look in that hole there, make sure there's nothing strange in there. Definitely looks like something's been building a nest in there. I don't know how long ago. That's common on old cars though. But yeah, something's definitely been building a nest in there. How long ago? I have no clue. Could be years, could be months. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that out anyway. I should probably get some actual pliers instead of my wire strippers for this. But they were sitting here. There's not a lot in here, it's very small. Like I said, I'm not the least bit surprised. It's an old car, it's 30 years old. That's a long time and a lot of opportunity for a rodent to build a nest. But definitely, yeah, I do definitely want to get that out of there. Let's get this leaf out of here too. What the? There's a leaf. I think I pretty much got it. There's another little bit right there. If I can get that, that should do it. Okay. Okay, I'm pleased with that. Alright, let's get the new part out. Alright, so here we have the new harness. You can see all the gray, brown, black, blue, green wire. They're a perfect match to these wires right here. Just match them color to color. This is actually, looks like a pretty well-made harness. It fits on the plug and it's got the right color wires, right gauges. That's really good. That's what you want. This came from O'Reilly. This is the standard brand. And you see I've got the standard brand in the resistor as well. The resistor was like $15, $16. This stupid thing was almost 30. So somewhere between, I can't remember the exact number, but I'm somewhere between $45 and $50 into this one right here, into this repair right here, this particular repair. So it's not a lot, although I find it crazy. This thing was almost 30 bucks. Like maybe 25. I don't really, like I said, I don't remember the exact numbers, but you'll be in this repair under 50 at least for the most part if you use these parts from O'Reilly's. So yeah, there it is right there, S762. There's, I don't know what that is, 23208, something you might want to see. This is a standard brand. This is for the connector. And then over here we have the resistor MU9 or RU95 for the resistor. It's a little bit more information right there. You want to pause and get that information. Both from O'Reilly Auto Parts. I don't use any particular store. I use the store that has what I need, so no sponsors or anything like that. I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff all crimped together off camera because it's kind of in a bad place in my opinion for filming it. I need to be right up here on it. To show you what I got to put it together, I went to Harbor Freight and got these right here. These are butt connectors. They are crimped, so you do have to run the wire, crimp them in the middle. And then they have an adhesive lined sleeve on either end. It's a heat shrink, so it'll seal right around that wire and lock out moisture. Definitely want that. So, and I got 2 different sizes because we have 2 different gauges of wires. I do like that because I do want to try to keep out as much moisture as possible and maybe use less electrical tape and only use enough to just, you know, bind them together. All right, so we got everything spliced together here. I did have to use some standard butt splices. Turns out I bought 2 out of the 3 sizes of the heat shrinky type and should have bought the 3rd one. But Harbor Freight is in Knoxville and that's 45 minutes at least. to get there, mini road trip whenever I want to go, and I didn't feel like going, so I'm just going to use these two, and we're going to test out this stuff from Harbor Freight, see how good it is, see if these deliver on the heat shrink advertising here. So I can't find the heat gun either. I'm telling you, so much stuff is missing after the move. It's ridiculous. It's not necessarily missing, we just haven't located it yet. So I've got the Bic lighter. Luckily it's one of those easy reach types, so don't have my finger right next to the flame. It's nice. I mean, it does shrink. That's not too bad. I think that's good. Go into this other side. There you go, Andy. Put your hand above the heat. There you go. That's where you want to put your hand, is above the freaking heat. There's so little room to work with in here, though. This particular area is just so devoid of space to work in. Because I mean, it's got this big AC canister here. It takes up some space, but we'll make it work. Push those wires away. Let's shrink this one down. It definitely works. I will say that it definitely works. I just really wish I had the heat gun. I'll eventually find it. I will eventually find it, but today is not that day. Okay, so there it is. I'm kind of pleased with that. That looks good. I like that. Okay, let me zoom in here real quick and I'll show you. So right here's two of the wires that we put the heat shrink butts on. They look good. I like them. You can see it definitely shrunk down to the wire. I am very pleased with that. I definitely want to go ahead and get the variety pack to have on hand eventually, and I will. It's like 10 bucks, which is great. And those are going to be nice. I will go ahead and once I've tested this, though, I'll go ahead and still tape those up just to be safe. And well, on the next job, I'll use more of those. All right, so let's get the new resistor. You can see it's got this foam seal on it. We'll pull it off real quick. It's got an adhesive backing. If I can get a grip on it, we'll peel it off of there. There we go. Peel that adhesive backing off. I'm going to slide it on the back of the resistor, and it's going to glue itself to the back of the resistor. Boom, boom. That looks good. That's going to secure itself to the back of the resistor. Now they have become one. Let's stick this thing in the hole here, and we'll run the two screws in. Remember, these are 5/16. I'll run those in as far as I can by hand. This is a very simple repair. Even I can do it. I got this guy here. Let's go ahead and run these screws in. Don't want to overdo it. They are just screwing directly into the actual body work of the sheet metal of the truck. So I don't want to strip. I don't want to go too much. I don't want to risk, you know, stripping them out or anything like that. That feels good. So that is secure. Let's go ahead and plug this connector in. Here we go. That is on there. All right. It looks complete, except for, of course, a little bit of tidying up. Let's go test out the blower motor now. And I left the ignition in on position. That's probably not a good thing. And nothing. Okay, so nothing. That's not good. Okay. So we have a deeper problem than the resistor. But I'm still not mad about putting that resistor on, because and they're common failures and they're relatively cheap. But now I'm thinking there's going to be a blower motor involved, and from what I understand, even on these old Dakotas, even being from the 90s, that's still an absolute pain. But when I slide this slider any bit whatsoever, the fan should come on. This is the power / fan speed, and it feels good. Like, it feels nice. It clicks into place. It doesn't feel worn. Obviously, I know that probably doesn't mean very much. The switch could be bad, but I'm betting you that blower motor's bad because of where I had to bang on the dash to get it to run before it just decided to never run again. Here's the problem with the blower motor. I don't see any access to the motor just looking right up under the dash. I'm thinking we're dealing with an HVAC box like pretty much all modern cars. If I remember correctly from the things I've read online, that's exactly what we're dealing with. So, if that's the case, that's gonna be a heck of a job and a whole separate video. All right, so one more time, just for the fun. Yep, no blower motor. So, okay, that didn't fix it. That sucks. But like I said, still not mad about putting that on. because these are common failures, and it's a nice peace of mind to have a brand new one on there. But before I finish this part of the job, I am going to go ahead and take this connector back off. We're going to set it aside because I have some bulb grease here. Now obviously I'm not putting bulbs on the truck, but what I'm going to do here is it's pretty much dielectric grease. Protects against corrosion, eases installation. So I want to put that on the terminals to help protect against, well, corrosion, like it says, because I mean you can see the kind of corrosion that was on here. You can see it on those internal on the internal parts of contacts right there, and if you look in between there, you can definitely see it. It's helps to seize the plug onto the old part. So I'm going to put some of this bulb grease on there just to protect it from the corrosion, and if I ever have to get that plug back off, it'll make it so I actually can get the plug back off. Okay, I got the bulb grease on there, a light coating, just to help protect against corrosion, but will still maintain contact, especially how tight that goes on there. I know it's going to scrape it away and it's going to hold. So, okay. Alright, so I'll get this taped up and get them bound together and wrapped up so that they're protected. Sucks that didn't fix it, but it's cheap enough that I'm not mad about it. Hey y'all, it's me, 4 months in the future. Just to give you an idea of how much I neglect the Dakota videos in favor of car reviews. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you stay tuned because there is also going to be a separate video replacing the actual blower motor in this truck. Anyways, folks, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it or at least found it informative. If you're having blower motor issues with your Dakota, or I'm sure many other Chrysler products from the 90s, this is definitely the first step you want to take, the first and cheapest and easiest step you want to take. If you did like this video, you want to see what else I do on this channel, make sure to go back to the channel, check out what else I've got, and if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like I said, stay tuned for the blower motor video. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.